Good morning. This is Barry Bryson welcoming you to 5 Good Minutes with the Word. Thank you for joining me again this morning. Today we talk about this magnificent book, the book of Hebrews. The letter to the Hebrews is written evidently, clearly from the text, to Christians, almost certainly in Palestine, but Christians anywhere, who come from a Jewish background and who are holding on to their Judaism. When this book is written, the clock is ticking because Rome is about to destroy the city of Jerusalem and Judaism itself. Old Testament Judaism has been gone for almost 2,000 years. It is impossible to be an Old Testament Jew the way you and I are able to be New Testament Christians. And so the thing that they're holding on to is about to be destroyed, and they need to hold on to what they have in Jesus Christ. Any conversation about this book almost always starts with a discussion of authorship because no one's name is on this book. For that reason, I think it highly unlikely Paul wrote it. However, whoever did write it was in Paul's circle. Whoever did write it was well enough known and good enough in the word to produce such a work. Whoever did write it knew Timothy, as he tells us at the end of chapter 13 that Timothy, who has been in jail in Rome, is about to be released. And he's about to dispatch Timothy to his readers. So this must be someone that we certainly know from the New Testament. The three best candidates are Luke, Barnabas, and Apollos. And of the three, I believe Apollos is by far and away the best candidate. This young man, whom we know to be so powerful in the Word, such a good reasoner, and who was educated perhaps even better than Paul was, having been educated at the great library in Alexandria. The theme of the book of Hebrews is stated in chapter 1, verses 1 through 4. God, after he spoke long ago to the fathers and the prophets in many portions and in many ways, in these last days has spoken to us in his Son, whom he appointed heir of all things, through whom he also made the world. And he is the radiance of his glory, the exact representation of his nature, and upholds all things by the word of his power. When he had made purification for sins, he sat down at the right hand of the Majesty on high, having become much better than angels, as he has inherited a more excellent name than they. Yes, in the Old Testament, in old times, we had a relationship with God through the fathers, through the prophets. But now, everything comes through Jesus. The universe was made through Jesus, and our salvation comes through him. The rest of the book is really a doctoral level course on covenant theology. If we look back at Galatians, and the arguments are similar, and we talked about Paul wearing his rabbinic hat, his rabbi's hat, and giving them a master class. Well, this is a doctoral level class on covenant theology. And in a way, it connects with the book of Colossians and 1 John 2, in that it places Jesus in a cosmological context, and us too, because we're his brothers, and he's not ashamed to call us brothers. He's our high priest, and through him we have access to the throne of God, and we are welcome there and find grace and mercy to help on our time of need. Chapter 4, verses 14 and following. The book climaxes in chapter 13, chapter 12, when he literally takes the reader back to Mount Sinai, and he says, you're here. Don't you remember the way we were afraid of God and afraid of his presence at Mount Sinai because he was so fierce? What we have now is this family where God's our Father and the angels welcome us in. Why would you want to go back to that? It's important that he reaches them with this message because the clock is ticking. Jerusalem and Judaism is about to be destroyed, and if that's where their heart is, if that's where their fortunes lie, they will be destroyed as well. I want to close out by reading chapter 13, verses 14 through 16, because it's the perfect summary of all he says. Here we do not have a lasting city, but we are seeking the city which is to come. Through him, then, let us continually offer up a sacrifice of praise to God, that is the root of lips which give thanks to his name. And do not neglect doing good and sharing, for such sacrifices God is pleased. Well, these are 5 good minutes with the book of Hebrews. I hope you will read it today, because it reminds us that all of us, all Christians, live as if the clock is ticking. that God is about to come, and what we have through Jesus is everything, and it's all we need. What a wonderful book. I hope you'll pick it up and read it. And if you disagree with my opinion about authorship, you're free to do so. I can't win that argument and won't even try. Thank you for joining me for 5 Good Minutes in the Word. Tomorrow, we'll look at the book of James.